Welcome to the College Blitz. I'm Brian North.
And I'm Matt Trent, and this weekend on All Hallows Night, there were some strange things going on in Durham.
We're in the final third of the season, and boy, we've had some interesting games throughout college football, but none more so ever than what happened at Wallace Wade Stadium, which is being renovated, and Duke has renovated its football program. It's undefeated in the ACC going into this one, but down in the fourth quarter, Miami adds to it with the touchdown pass. Duke was down double digits, and the Canes thought it was over, but here come those Blue Devils. Thomas Sirk, he's going to find his man, Janelle Barnes. That cut it to 24-19, and then, it's basketball season's coming, but hold on, the football team's got something to say. 6 seconds to go, Thomas Sirk runs it in. They added the two-point conversion, and Duke was up 27-24. All they have to do, Sebastian says, hey, no problems, we can get this. All they had to do was just tackle somebody on the kickoff. From the point of the ball being kicked off, Miami is going to lateral this thing 8 different times. It takes 49 seconds to complete this play. That's usually 10 highlights. Number one touches the ball a couple times. Here's your controversial play. We're going to talk about this in a minute. He looks like he's down, but the whistle not blown. Miami continues to play. And here comes the key point in this whole series. The whole Duke defense goes to the other side, and look at this pass, this lateral all the way across, and now Miami has blockers, and they're going to go all the way. Corn Elder, 91 yards for the touchdown, but that wasn't it. They had to review it. It took 9 minutes to review this touchdown, and they finally said amidst confusion, touchdown. And Miami wins at 30-27. That was just the beginning of the controversy.
What was explained at the end over the loudspeaker I heard was that in review, the block was on the side. I would like the whole play reviewed in detail. I thought there were other questionable blocks on the play. I'm going to just tell you like it is. I thought the guy was down, and I think pictures will prove me right that he was down if you want to review it when he lateraled the ball. Nothing was ever said to me otherwise. I mean, that happened as soon as it was announced to you guys. At first I heard of it, and they were gone. I don't think there's anything right about that, personally. Nothing. In anybody's book. You know, I can't, I'm not supposed to criticize officials. I won't criticize officials. I just can't, somebody needs to explain to me why that's right in that situation where I'm left standing there. I didn't know what to do.
I mean, I'll never forget this game. My first thought ever to win like that, that's unreal. Oh, my God.
You guys ever practice that?
No, I've never seen them practice it. Oh, my God.
I mean, with 6 seconds left, we knew we didn't want to come to door and come out with an L. So in them 6 seconds, it was called for kickoff return. And hey, we just tried to make a play, and that's what we did. And we just kept fighting till the whistle was blown. And hey, we came out victorious tonight. I mean, this win means a lot, you know. The coach of championship run through Durham. You know, I mean, we came up here, accomplished a lot. I mean, hey, we still on ACC championship on territory, so we got to keep pushing.
So Miami celebrating an improbable win. They've already printed up T-shirts calling it the return. They're 5-3, 2-2 in the conference. They've certainly had a tough week with Al Golden being fired, and there's their interim coach. But you have to wonder what the ACC is thinking. You have a final play of a game that they have said the officials were wrong. They've suspended the officials for 2 games. They said there was an illegal block or a couple of illegal blocks. Why would they not overturn the decision on that game? If they know it's the final play, nothing else is affected, why won't the ACC overturn that and give Duke the win?
Just looking at it, it was pretty egregious. I mean, it wasn't even close. He was down. The block in the back was egregious. Now, you were there. Was the last lateral pass that close to being a forward pass?
No, I don't think the laterals were the problem. It was all about the illegal blocks that the ACC now says happened, and it was the knee being down on that one play. Now, Duke was about to go undefeated into a huge game with North Carolina this week, and now that takes a lot of momentum away. I just don't understand why, if it's the last play of the game, there's nothing that can be affected past that. Why doesn't the ACC say, we made a mistake, Duke, you deservedly get the win, Miami, sorry, but you didn't win the game like you were supposed to.
Yeah, it was a tough call, and that's going to hurt Duke. I mean, it's going to hurt Duke in the end if it's not overturned, which it's not going to be. The ACC's not going to just come back 48 hours later and go, we'll give you the win back.
And that's the mistake. They could correct it up this time. It would cause more controversy, but I always say do the right thing. NC State going for back-to-back ACC wins. They had a tough one against third-ranked Clemson. Look, the Pat came out ready to go in this one, including Jacoby Brissett. Very first drive of the game, Brissett keeps it, and he's going to go in for the touchdown. Now, they had a point after block, so it was 6-0, but Deshaun Watson. Well, there's our guy from Rose saying, hey, Wolfpack, here we go. But Deshaun Watson says, I'm the preseason ACC Player of the Year for a reason. He keeps much more from Watson coming up. But our man from Lejeune, Mr. Bodine, having a good time as a walk-on for ECU. And then Naheem Hines from Garner, the freshman. He's had a good year receiving the ball with this kickoff return. 100 yards, and just like that, State not going away. But Deshaun Watson said, woo, we're going to be howling as well. He's got the touchdown pass. There were 4 touchdowns in the first 4.5 minutes of the game, plus 2 blocked PATs. Josh Taylor says, hey, that's okay. Here we go. We're going to come back as well. As Brissett out to Jalen Saunders. And just like that, he's become a touchdown machine. He takes it in. NC State had the 20-19 lead. Dabo Swinney, he would watch NC State miss a field goal with less than 30 seconds to go in the half, and Watson would come right back 2 plays and hit his guy. And just like that, Clemson was in the lead, and they wouldn't look back. Watson threw for 380 yards and 5 touchdowns. And the Tigers were feeling pretty good. Now, NC State still scoring at will, but Watson coming back himself on the screen pass. Boy, Clemson looks like a top 5 ranked team in the country. At least their offense does. Now, their defense certainly had some issues. The State fans were stunned, but Brissett put up some pretty good numbers, too. He's going to find Brinage here for the touchdown. They were back within single digits, but they just couldn't stop Clemson. As the Wolf Puppy, he had to do 49 push-ups at one point.
Good luck, buddy.
But Watson, here's his 5th touchdown of the night. Clemson gets the win, 56-41. 41 points for State, and yet they still couldn't win.
It's frustrating, but, our defense got to, we just got to step up and just make some plays. I mean, we know there was a good offense and that they was going to score points. So, for us to score that many points with an L, it was tough, but we just got to learn from it.
Now the Pack going to try and figure out what to do when they head to Boston College this Saturday.
North Carolina hasn't been 3-0 in ACC play since 1997. Way back in the day, Mack Brown was the coach of the Heels. Well, they locked horns with Pittsburgh on Thursday, and both teams were 6-1, and Marquise just got it going early and often, evades the tacklers and hits Ryan Switzer in stride for the touchdown. That makes it 10-3 UNC, and Williams, another big day, 270 yards and a pair of touchdowns, and he's going to go right back to Quinshaw Davis. That is Mr. Davis's 182nd career reception as a Tar Heel. He passes Hakeem Nicks for the program's all-time lead. He also set the all-time touchdown receiving record early in the year, and Williams goes right back to work to Matt Collins right over the middle. Matt Collins has quietly become one of those unsung receivers in that core. UNC wins 26-19. They will head to Durham this Saturday to take on Duke for their homecoming.
Wake trying to break a 2-game skid against Louisville, and John Wolford back at quarterback and looking forward to Bari Hines. And watch that move right there. Slipped by 2 defenders, and he is gone for the touchdown. Wake had the 19-12 lead. Then Wolford, as Wake fans, there are a few of them out there. Wolford then going to go deep again. Watch another move. Whoop! Slips right by to Shaq Wiggins. But Louisville, well, Wolford would try to go to the pot one too many times. Louisville comes up with the interception. That's Wiggins. And Louisville holds on for the 20-19 win. You're seeing that young talent for Wake Forest, but just not able to get over the hump as they drop to 3-6 on the year. Also playing Friday night, East Carolina University headed up to Connecticut, where Ruffin McNeil and company hoping to stay alive in the race for the AAC, and they look good early. They got the defensive touchdown from Deshaun Benton, pick 6. That's the only problem. The offense couldn't score for ECU. They would not score until the second half, and Connecticut took advantage. Former NC State quarterback now playing for Connecticut. Now, that was a key play because Trevon Simmons would be kicked out of the game for targeting. That would lead to a Connecticut touchdown down at the goal line, and they punch it in, and they had the 10-6 lead at the half. And then in the third quarter, Brent Sheriffs, who used to play at NC State, transferred to Connecticut. He gets the touchdown pass. And then here's the big play, the 90-yarder by the former Parade All-American from Connecticut, but they said he was too short to play at other schools, so he said, fine, I'll stay in the Nutmeg State and play for Connecticut. And look at that, goes 90 yards for the score. ECU had its problems with turnovers. Blake Kemp, 3 interceptions. James Summers, 1. They finally got the offense going in the fourth quarter. Marquez Grayson, been out all year, but finally back from that foot injury. He was the leading rusher on the night, set up a Blake Kemp touchdown. Not enough, though. ECU falls in this one by the final of 31-13. They now drop to 4-5 on the year.
Appalachian State and Troy had some theatrics out in Boone for their Sun Belt matchup. It's 31-24 Mountaineers in the fourth, and Troy is going to tie it with a touchdown in overtime.
That was Taylor Land keeping it in the third OT. And then they would try and stuff Troy, and they did, and that would set up Mr. Otto Maddox, Zach Otto Maddox, the former Southwest Onslow Stallion, number 59, jumping for joy as App State improves to 7-1 with a 44-41 win. They've got a huge game coming up this Thursday night against Arkansas State. That'll be for first place in the Sun Belt Conference.
A couple more scores. Farrell Cooper catches 4 balls for 22 yards, carries the ball twice for 16 yards. A&M beat South Carolina 35-28. DeAndre Tompkins just 2 catches for 31 yards. Penn State blanks the Fighting Illini 39-0, however. Charlotte still struggling as a full Division I member. They lose to Marshall 34-0. Western Kentucky beats Old Dominion 55-30. CJ Bradshaw with a couple tackles in that one. And former Kinston star Derek Rivers 4 tackles in a sack as Youngstown edges Western Illinois 23-20. In North Carolina A&T, at that game right there, they were number 20 in the FCS polls. That's the highest they've been since 2003. That win right there is their 6th straight. They improved to 5-0 in the MEAC with a 28-10 win over Florida A&M. Denzel Keys, 6 catches, 44 yards. Angelo Keys, a decent day, 2 tackles and half of a sack.
Now ranked 16th in the nation. Sellout homecoming crowd of almost 12,000 at Central, NC Central, taking on Norfolk State in a lot closer game than what Central wanted, as the quarterback Malcolm Bell going to get down to the goal line. That would set up a touchdown run as well, and Central needed a late touchdown pass to pull out the win over Norfolk State, who's been struggling. 24-16, though, Central improves to 5-3, 4-1 in the MEAC.
Elon headed north to the Empire State to take on the Sea Wolves of Stony Brook, and it's scoreless in the first until the southpaw for Elon goes up top to the receiver and just barrels his way in. That's going to make it 7-0 Phoenix. And the defense coming up, ball's going to be tipped and right into the hands of the defender. But that drive remains scoreless, and then they go right back to the passing game. The backup quarterback in, just gun-slinging it into the end zone as well. The great catch. Elon goes up 14-7. They add one more to win on the road, 21-7 over Stony Brook.
Team they lost to at home last year. Well, how about Campbell? They went to the Triad to take on those pesky Davidson Wildcats, and Deshaun Jones had himself a day. Number 11, a school record 201 yards rushing. He scored 3 times, and those Campbell Camels get over the hump in the Pioneer League and pick up a big win. They beat the Wildcats 39-9. Campbell improves to 5-4, 3-3 in the Pioneer, and secured its 2nd straight road victory, rushing for 313 yards as a team, while limiting Davidson to just 3 yards on the ground.
And Virginia State and Chowan in some CIAA action. These two were locked in a tie for 3rd place, and then Jordan Watkins, the southpaw, goes back corner to his man Anthony Prince. That gives the Hawks a 7-0 lead, and then the cheerleaders loving with the breast cancer awareness pom-poms. But Virginia State has one of the more athletic running backs in the CIAA. Trenton Cannon just shredding that blue and white D all day, runs that one in to tie things at 7. And there's former DH Conley Viking Drew Buck saying, hey, this offense, we got to get back to work. We got to get it going. Well, Tyree Lee answers the bell for the touchdown, 14-7 Chowan. But the Virginia State running game, like it's done all year in big games like this, just pounded and chipped away. That is Kevon Bellamy with the big run, rumbles his way down near the goal line, and their dual threat quarterback, Terrian Ayers, on the triple option is going to keep it himself for the touchdown run. Virginia State 32-28 on the road over Chowan.
Elizabeth City State traveled to Richmond to take on Virginia Union. And what's Virginia Union's mascot?
Panthers.
Panthers, yeah. Well, the Panthers had a pretty good mobile quarterback who's just going to keep, and then going to get down to the goal line, and whoop, Superman flies his way in for the score. Yeah. Elizabeth City State's going to try and answer with their own running game. And they do, but then it's going to be those Vikings coughing the ball up, and Virginia Union's going to go the other way with it. They get the win, 43-31 to handle Elizabeth City State. A rare loss this season.
The winless Shaw Bears taking on Southern Division leader Winston-Salem State, and we're going to be tied at 18 in the extra period, and then Trevante Long gets the great diving catch.
Does he?
Yeah, he looked like he, I don't know.
Thank you, Pylon, for getting in the way of the official.
I think the Duke refs were at this game first. So that's going to be the touchdown. That's 25-18, and then Shaw, then Rod Tinsley hits Rashawn Williams for the touchdown, and then Rod Tinsley again hits D'Amico Jones for the touchdown, and then we have Marquise Grizzle, the Curry Tuck native, rushing touchdown, and then the long run, but then
Shaw.
they come back out of nowhere, and they get the interception. Wow. Bruce Parker to seal it. Shaw 32-25 for their first win of the season. So let's take a look at those CIAA standings. The win, I mean, it doesn't do much for Shaw. It jumps them ahead of St. Augustine's, which is not that great since St. Augustine's is 0-6. Winston-Salem State and Fayetteville State, with that loss for the Rams, are now tied for first. It's Johnson C. Smith and Livingstone tied for third at 3-3. In the Northern Division, Bowie State still undefeated at 6-0. Virginia State jumps ahead of Chowan after that win with a 4-2 record in the conference. And it's Elizabeth City State and Lincoln rounding out 5-6.
CIAA championship game coming up in just a couple of weeks. And we're going to show you some basketball that happened Friday night anyways. Why not? Brandon Ingram, the Kinston native, just coming out for his debut in an exhibition game, and he had no problems. He was the highlight of the night, flying all around doing his thing as Duke picked up the easy win over Florida Southern. They kick off their season coming up on November 13th, and Luke Kennard and Brandon Ingram expect to do big things for the Blue Devils this year, who are ranked 5th in your preseason AP poll. So basketball season's coming, but we're all about football through the month of November. We'll sprinkle in some basketball.
Yeah, Tar Heels #1 in the preseason AP poll too. So
yes.
That's huge for the ACC. Question: East Carolina. At what point do we start? It's a little bit late in the season, but at what point does Ruffin McNeil have to say or consider, let's develop one quarterback for the duration of the season and scrap the two quarterback system?
They've got 3 games left. They're just trying to win and become bowl eligible at this
right.
point. I think they really are looking towards next year of getting Kirk Bankert back. I think you'll probably see James Summers move to wide receiver. So I think they're just trying to survive at this point. Both quarterbacks have done well at points, but now a lot of film. People have made adjustments. It's not happening right now. But they got South Florida coming in. South Florida's playing well, but it's a winnable game. They've got Central Florida, who's completely struggled this year, and Cincinnati, the preseason favorite. So they need to win 2 of those last 3 to become bowl eligible, get those extra 15 practices, keep that string going. So I don't know if you can make changes at this point. Both quarterbacks have strengths and weaknesses. It's the offensive line is beat up. It's the running game is hurting a little bit. I think your defense has got to step up and try and win you some games.
I think the thing that the takeaway from these last couple of games is we're not fooling anybody anymore. No. We're not. It's not the curveball that we're going to bring in one and then bring in the other, and then it's the change up and then whatever. Teams are preparing for the 2 system now. They've got so much film on James. They've got so much film on Blake. Yeah. You're not going to surprise anyone anymore.
So they have to look. Coaches get paid a lot of money to figure these things out. So they've got 3 games. Need to win 2 of them, so we'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting last third of the season, last quarter of the season, I guess we're down to now, as we head towards who's going to get into postseason play.
And that's going to do it for our latest edition of the College Blitz. For Brian North, I'm Matt Trent. We'll see you guys next week.